I salute you for what you are doing to a degree that I think it's extremely commendable and respectful because, having been an investor in Pipefy, Rocket Chat, and so forth, that were starting much earlier with that same mentality, it's just really hard. That's the issue when you compare a Brazilian founder with an Israeli founder. That Israeli founders, everyone around them, all the first you have like conscription on the army, right? Because everyone wants to fucking kill you. And then basically there's something about a nation where every 17, 18-year-old is grabbing an M16 and getting military training, men and women. It completely changes the nation. And I think we see now with their speed in like vaccination, for instance, right? It's just one example. Then Brazil, continental size, so you can get rich and buy as many Tony Iommi guitars as you want just by selling things in Brazil. So it does take, I think, a different type of mindset and ambition in order to do what you've done. And what led you to want to be a global leader? Because I can share what led me to move here and continue to invest in both geographies. For me, I love the game. It's the intellectual aspect of learning and knowing that I'm around the most competitive people ever and trying to be the best version of myself, right? I love that.
I love the game as well. But I would say that I don't know the best translation for an expression we have in Brazil, síndrome de vira-lata. Can you
Oh
help
yeah.
me on this?
Yeah, sure. So yeah, there's this author in Brazil called Nelson Rodrigues that has this mutt syndrome, where most of the I think Brazilians oftentimes, primarily because of how recent our democracy is and how I think nice and social Brazilians are. It's just this combination of sometimes thinking that things from the outside are better than the things from the inside versus understanding that the world is a pretty global place, and it's really up to you to get whatever you want done
Yeah,
in life. And it's so ingrained in the culture. It's not as bad as Europe, which I think Europe is like so risk averse, it's so terrible. But it's out there, and then, so yeah, we as Brazilians, for the Americans listening, we have this thing called mutt syndrome, and then sometimes people,
it's
they just
low
don't,
self-esteem.
low
Yeah,
self-esteem, we don't think it's possible. It's a joke. This, if there's one thing, I'm not a huge fan of China as a nation, but if there's one thing I appreciate about the Chinese is that they don't give a shit in that sense. That's very good for entrepreneurship.
yeah, totally. So when we started the company in 2013, when we were to incorporate, we incorporate in the US in Delaware, and we said someday we will be a global company. So that's something that was ingrained. We wanted to from day zero, but back then it wasn't. Maybe it was, but we had the vira-lata or mud syndrome that we described. And we started growing very fast in Brazil, delivering very positive results. Um, then we, in 2017, we opened Mexico, which has always been profitable, decent growth, etc. But if I could go back in time, I would have gone to US first. So that's something I would classify as a mistake. In our industry in 2018, we were seeing a lot of VC funding and activity in the content marketing space. We were seeing competitors and US companies raising very big rounds, like 40 million, 50 million
Like
Series
Percolate,
B. Yeah.
DV.
In early 2018, we got approached by one of these US competitors and they wanted to acquire us. Um, w- Initially, we weren't selling, we weren't really considering it, but I said, okay, let me uh, get to know these guys. Let me go to bed with the enemy to a certain extent here.
Engage.
We went to their offices. We shared some data. They shared some data with us. They made a very compelling offer, but we decided that's not what we're here for. Um, because the consideration price had a component of equity, we said we want to see all your operational metrics and retention margins, etc., to help us in our decision. And it was scary because when we looked at those metrics, the first thing was we are better than they are on almost every single thing. Um, they are bigger, yes, but we're gonna catch them in terms of size in 6 to 8 months. And that was something I said, "Whoa, maybe I'm talking to the wrong guys. Let me benchmark with a few other players in the industry." And I reached outbound again to a lot of executives on competitive companies. I wouldn't say competitive because back then we were Latin America and they were US only. But had some mentorship slash benchmarking sessions, and we have better metrics than all major key players here. These guys raised significant amount of venture capital. We are profitable, generating cash or at least break even and growing. We should go to the US market. So January 2019, we made the decision that we would enter US. Our business, we have essentially two components in our business. We have software, subscription, pure SaaS of our content marketing platform, of our interactive content platform, and we have a marketplace that has 80,000 freelance creative professionals that was pretty developed in Brazil, Mexico, but it would take a few years to build the same infrastructure in the US. Our decision was to, okay, we're gonna buy and let's research, let's look at the market, let's see the opportunities. In late 2019, we acquired a competitor called Scribble Live. And since then, we've been, I would say, pretty successful in globalizing the business and how can I say that? We are today the first content marketing company that can really serve brands across all the Americas geography. Nobody can do that, and I think we can do it very well. So it's a pretty special moment. Obviously it came with a lot of challenges and a lot of lessons learned, but I'm pretty excited about the moment we are in.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, I salute you for the courage. I remember when we were having conversations about what you were up, what you were going to do, and it does take a special type of, which again is what I do think it's one of the things about being an inevitable founder, which is this ability of having enough emotional fortitude and take risks at the right time. Because ultimately, like if you sold your company back then, I mean, you would have made a few millions probably and put it in your pocket and then become an executive at that company. And then, after you, I don't know, you just buy a few more guitars, get a nice car, upgrade your house, and know that then what, like then it's just like,
Yeah, it would have been a life changing event for me theoretically, but I'm really long on this. Like, I think I'm similar to you when it comes to. I have the things I like. I have simple habits. Uh, I like books and guitars. I can afford both. And I didn't feel the urge, and I'm here for decades, not years.
that's
That's
great.
how success for me is really on the long term.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And that's some of the important things about the journey itself.